My name is Hiliary Jenkins, and I'm a sustainability business partner at IKEA, and my job is to look after our social impact across the UK and Ireland. As a sustainability business partner, I look after how IKEA can operate in an authentic, values-driven way in our local community. So this includes everything from managing our strategic national charity partners to how our store and our co-workers in those stores volunteers their time and donates our products to create the biggest change in our local community. We also try to bring more social entrepreneurs into our value chain. And of course, we look after how we support refugees into meaningful employment. Meaningful employment for me really means a job that gives someone purpose. It's beyond just a paycheck, which is, of course, vital, but it's providing them with those connections, those networks that they need to kind of break down the isolation and loneliness some people can feel. Meaningful employment also offers benefits such as language support, or, for example, at IKEA, we offer all of our coworkers a free hot and healthy meal, access to financial support services, as well as health and well-being benefits. So meaningful employment is the big picture and how it can enable somebody to lead a better life. It's actually quite emotional how we started working with Breaking Barriers. I don't know if you remember back in 2016, 2017, it was the height of the Syrian refugee crisis. And the photos on the cover of the papers were very stark. You know, there was the photo of that poor refugee little boy that had washed up on shore. And as a business, we felt compelled to do something. And we wanted to do something with big impact. So we met with a lot of partners, NGOs, councils, government officials, and other businesses to think about where we could have the biggest change. And we quickly realized that meaningful employment was the way to really help someone integrate into society and unlock their potential, providing value for the whole family. So of course, someone would have a steady income stream, but also have new connections and build relationships in their local community. So how the partnership specifically with Breaking Barriers came about is we started reaching out to a number of NGOs and social enterprises. And actually at that time, it was very difficult to find an organization that was purely focused on refugee employment. There were charities that were supporting refugees in a host of different ways, but we wanted to focus on employment. And that's when we found Matt Powell at the time, who started up Breaking Barriers. And we slowly decided to try a trial program in London, which has been co-created and developed many times over since that initial partnership began. I think IKEA has seen a lot of benefits working with Breaking Barriers. Specifically about Breaking Barriers, they seem to be a resilient organization that's really open to change, nimble and flexible. So when we co-created a program, we quickly learned some things didn't work, some things we could do better. And it's been fantastic to work with an organization that was open to that dialogue and co-creation and change. So specifically, I think that's a real plus to Breaking Barriers. And the benefits IKEA has seen to have a refugee support employment program have been huge. Number one, we're tapping into a fantastic talent pool. We find that refugees, and almost using the term refugees seems wrong. I almost want to say forcibly displaced talent. We find they are resilient, they're hardworking, they are adaptable, they find new ways, which is one of our IKEA values, and they've been a wonderful addition to our workforce. We also find that the refugee employment program helps us speak with pride and authenticity about our values. We often say we're a humanistic, values-led business, but by running our program and standing with refugees, I think our coworkers have been very proud of the place they work. So I think it's given us a lot of goodwill throughout the business. So yes, IKEA does have a global remit to employ refugees, but also fund organizations that provide refugees with retail basics, skills, and experience. I would like to say we do have an open source toolkit that's available to anyone, any business that wants to learn from us what we've done, what's worked, what hasn't worked. We're very transparent. So we do want to call on other businesses to join us on this journey. In addition to the refugee employment program, we also work, as I said, closely in our local communities to support refugee groups, whether that could be the refurbishment of a community center that's providing support for refugees, or even in the past, we've helped refugees set up their new lives, set up their new homes, who might be moving into accommodation that has nothing. So we have a variety of different programs where we support refugees. The partnership with Breaking Barriers has been vital to what we do and vital to our global platform. We started so long ago with this test and trial in London, and we had huge ambitions and hopes, but I don't think we ever thought it could reach this scale to be a global commitment from IKEA. So I think without Breaking Barriers and without those conversations in the beginning, and without Breaking Barriers being involved in creating our global framework, I don't think it would be where it is today. So it's been hugely important to have such a great partnership right from the beginning. I think it's a really good question on what businesses can do to ensure the long-term sustainability of charity work like Breaking Barriers does. I think it's important to recognize that these programs do cost money to run effectively, and to have the impact they need. It's one thing to do straight hiring of refugee talents, which I applaud and commend, and I think it's important to tap into that amazing talent pool. But also, how do you support and fund those programs that are helping individuals who might be far from the job market at the moment? How are you supporting them with their English language or their basic knowledge they need to enter the job market? And I think it's important to recognize that sometimes corporate funding upfront to upscale those programs is really important. The highlight of the partnership, I think you can sometimes get bogged down in facts and figures and how many people we've reached. But really, it's when you meet individuals, when I'm able to have conversations with people who have so much dignity, have so much resilience, and have been through so much and have made extremely difficult decisions, often to provide for their family and give their family the best life. When I'm able to meet those people and hear their stories firsthand, I think that's a highlight. And that makes me incredibly proud of IKEA, and this partnership and my role at IKEA. So that's the highlight for me.